Am I the a-hole for rejecting my dad's efforts to repair our relationship because he chose his wife over me? I, 21 male, lost my mom when I was still a baby, and my dad didn't date anyone until I was around 9. Then he met his wife, Lindsay. She was a single mom to 2 kids. Both of her kids had different fathers who weren't around. Her oldest was 11, and her youngest was 6. Her youngest was special needs and medically complex. My dad and Lindsay rushed their relationship because she didn't have much free time and she wanted help, and Dad was willing. A really brief TLDR. My dad kept me in a bad situation. His wife's youngest took up a lot of money and space with all his extra needs, and her oldest was angry, violent, lashed out, drank, and did drugs. I had a curtained-off space, not a bedroom with a door, and not a real bed. I once went 6 weeks without seeing my dad while I lived there. He told me she came first when I asked him to leave, and that his marriage and happiness would always come first. I left at 17 and didn't look back. Now he wants to reconcile, but I said no because I deserve to be happy too. I know it wasn't her son's fault, the 6-year-old, but he was a lot of work, and I resented it from the start. Dad told me good people help family, and don't pass up love and family just because it'll be more difficult or more work. He said he deserved to be happy, and Lindsay made him happy, that my mom was his first chance and he lost her, so Lindsay was his second chance. He told me I could benefit from being a caring brother to Lindsay's son and would learn a lot about real life. Money was extremely tight, and the house was filled with medical equipment and mobility aids for Lindsay's son. I didn't even get an actual bedroom. I was shoved behind a curtain where the office had been before Dad and I moved in. The timeline was like this. May, Dad and Lindsay meet. September, they introduce us all to each other. November, we all move in together. February, Dad and Lindsay get married. A few months after we moved in, Lindsay's daughter, the oldest, started acting out. She smashed up some of her half-brother's medical equipment, stole money, snuck out late at night, got drunk a few times, started taking drugs, and would push me around if I was in her way. There were nights I couldn't sleep until 1 or 2 a.m. because I could hear Lindsay and her daughter fighting. Her daughter would say she wished her half-brother would die so they could move on. Lindsay would get hysterical, and her daughter would say he wasn't her real brother anyway, just a burden. I begged my dad to leave and go back to it being just the 2 of us. But he said we couldn't walk out. We committed. We were more than just the 2 of us now. I told him I didn't want any of them and hated how much life had changed. He told me life always changes, and I needed to get on top of my feelings and accept that he needed to be happy and deserved to save his marriage. He said his marriage was the most important thing and that it had to be to provide me with stability. Even when Lindsay's daughter kicked me out of my room and bed, literally dragging me by the hair or legs, Dad stayed. When I was 13, I went 6 weeks without seeing my dad because Lindsay's son was in the hospital and she stayed with him. That meant if Dad wasn't at work, he was at the hospital. All I got was a note telling me to go to friends' houses if there was no food. Those 6 weeks were hell. Every time I saw Lindsay's daughter, she cursed at me, shoved me around, and made me feel unsafe outside of my curtained area. Nothing got better. After I turned 15, Lindsay started asking me to help more with chores and errands and expected me to be her little helper. When I said no, Dad told me I didn't get to disrespect my new mom. That led to a fight where I exploded and told him to F off because she would never be my mom. Nothing good came from them being married, and he needed to leave me alone. More fights happened after that because Lindsay heard and said she loved me, and her son loved me too, and would hate to know I saw him as nothing but a burden. When I was 17, I just left one day. I didn't have a plan or much savings, but I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I left Dad a note like he left me when I was 13. He filed a missing persons report, and I had to tell the cops I was safe but refused to go back. I avoided being sent back until I turned 18. Then I was just free. I didn't stay in touch and started a new life. I even tracked down my mom's family, and now I live with my maternal grandparents, who had been searching for me for years. But Dad had moved and never let anyone know where we were going. He got in touch a couple of months ago. I ignored him and kept ignoring his requests to reconcile. Then, a week ago, I replied to his message where he said how much he hated that we ended up like this. He wasn't even sure if I'd blocked him. I had planned to, but never expected him to reach out. But he said he loved me, missed me, and more than anything wanted us to work on things. I told him that he chose his wife over me, made a big chunk of my childhood hell, and I wanted nothing more to do with him because I deserved to put my happiness first. He's replied a bunch since, saying I should never have expected him to give up his wife for me and that we can work on this. He says I need my dad and all kinds of crap. He actually seems kinda desperate and erratic about it, like he's really afraid I won't give him a chance. Am I the a-hole for rejecting his efforts? Now for the top comments. Your dad failed you when you needed him most. You're not wrong. Thank you. Like he said, she comes first, so he should be fine with the outcome of that. OP, before you resume being low or no contact, please lay everything out for him in exquisite detail. Every hungry moment during those 6 weeks. Every hit or kick or push from stepsis. Every neglectful moment. Every tear. I don't expect it to make a tiny bit of difference to him, but I feel like you need to get it off your chest, and he needs to know it all. Then he can be relegated to your past and be happy with his wife. And you be happy with the better life you've built. Not the a-hole. Sounds like you went through hell and the one person you were supposed to be able to count on let you down spectacularly. It was such a big change that it was hell having hardly anything and then dealing with the fighting and all the other stuff. If you're not in therapy to help you unpack this, you should consider it. It's expensive, but maybe your grandparents can help. I want to give them a hug for taking you in. Good people. I'm in therapy now. It took a while, but I accepted that I'd need it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not having a relationship with my dad and his family because his wife is the affair partner and they talked crap about my mom? My parents were married when my mom got pregnant with me, 16 male. She was still pregnant when she found out my dad was cheating with Lauren. My dad and Lauren moved in together after the affair was exposed, and then Lauren got pregnant. My dad and Lauren tried to get custody of me and lost. They called CPS on my mom and weren't able to take me that way either. So it was always toxic. They shared custody of me starting when I was 3, and it ended last year when the courts let me reduce it to 50-50. A few months ago, it was decided I could live with whoever I wanted, but I couldn't block or mute either parent while I'm under 18. My dad and Lauren have 6 kids together. My half-brother is their oldest, and he's less than a year younger than me. My dad and Lauren used to talk so much crap about my mom. I remember being really young, and they would say how she gave birth to me early and didn't even breastfeed me to make up for it. They said she hated my half-brother and wished he was dead. They often told me she put herself before me and didn't care about my need to be with my family. They called her ugly, fat, and all kinds of other insults. They'd say she didn't buy me nice gifts like they did, or that she didn't give me siblings like they did. Lauren even said her womb was all rotted up from being such a bad mom. I was maybe 5 when my mom told me about the affair and why she didn't get along with Lauren and Dad. She also told me they tried to take me away from her. She had a therapist help her have that conversation because she was afraid they would alienate me from her. I asked my dad about it, and he didn't deny it. But it was years later when he came out and said he didn't regret what he did and would do it all over again, only he'd try to win. By then, I already resented the heck out of everything, and it only got worse with all the crap they talked about my mom. My mom told me once and never spoke of it again after that. I really hated being at my dad's house and didn't want to be close to Dad, Lauren, or the other kids. I made a lot of trouble for them. It was also really chaotic there because my dad and Lauren broke up twice but kept living in the same house. They divided it into his half and her half, and those times were really tense. Lauren would get mad when I wouldn't visit her side during Dad's parenting time. That actually almost made them break up for good, but they got back together both times. It added to all the weirdness. I got into so much trouble when I had to be there because I wanted nothing to do with the kids and was rude to Lauren and my dad. I started calling them cheaters 3 years ago, which ticked them both off. They told me I wasn't even born at the time, and I said I didn't care. They cheated on my mom, tried to take me away from her, and badmouthed her when she was the victim. Lauren told me if my mom was so great, my dad never would have wanted her in the first place. I said it was because they're both gross. My mom had me in therapy at different points of my childhood. It was the therapist who suggested calming down and talking to the judge about reducing contact and preparing to be mature about it. He told me being mature and not disrespecting all of them, especially the kids, would be better. Both times it worked. So now I'm living with my mom, and I don't have anything to do with them. I even transferred schools so I could go full no contact with dad's other kids. I don't care if they're innocent too. I don't want a relationship with them. I get texts from dad pretty often. I blocked Lauren, and I blocked their kids because I can. Dad tells me when his kids want to see me, and he's always texting that they all miss me. And I'm not being fair and should at least have something to do with my half-siblings. I've replied twice to his texts just to show I haven't blocked or muted him. The first time, I said I didn't care. The second time, I told him to F off. He just keeps texting about the kids now, trying to make me feel bad, but it doesn't work. I don't care. Am I the a-hole? Your father and his wife have behaved very badly. There is absolutely no excuse for any adult to badmouth a parent in front of a child. Your mom sounds awesome, and she has obviously done a really good job. The kids aren't your responsibility, and if they had listened to you in the first place, they wouldn't be in this position. Yes, the kids are innocent, but so are you. Not the a-hole. Your dad and Lauren sound like awful people. Make sure to tell your mom that everyone on the internet thinks she's a great mom. Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry this was your experience growing up. I hope your mom and you both find peace. She must be a very wonderful mom for you to not be alienated when they were so openly hostile towards her. And you are a wonderful son for recognizing how great she is. As your half-siblings get older, you can decide for yourself if you want relationships with them away from your dad. Do what gives you peace. My mom's an amazing mom. She's been through so much, and honestly, with all they put her through, she could have taken it out on me the way they kinda did by bad-mouthing her. But she didn't. She was always there for me, and really tried to make me as not screwed up as possible. Last story. Am I the a-hole for picking a restaurant for my birthday dinner that did not meet the needs and requirements of my dad's wife and her son? My dad got married to Kathleen when I, 22 male, was 15. Kathleen has 2 kids, a daughter I've never met, I think she's in her late 20s or early 30s, and a son, Benjamin, 18 male. Benjamin is allergic to peanuts and shellfish. On top of that, he and Kathleen are very picky eaters. His diet when I lived there consisted of pizza, fries, burgers, and beef and cheese tacos. He wouldn't eat fruits or vegetables. He wouldn't eat any meat except beef. He'd eat chocolate, ice cream, and stuff like that though. He was so bad at checking labels and had a few allergic reactions while we lived together. One time, he had to be rushed to the hospital and spent a week there because he had such a bad reaction. Kathleen's super picky too. I can't remember all the stuff she wouldn't eat, but it included any kind of fish, any kind of potato, rice, pasta, bread, and things like that. This left us in a really weird position when my dad wanted to order takeout or take us out to eat. We had a couple of fast food places where Kathleen would order a salad and Benjamin would order pizza and burgers. The food was never great, but it could have been worse. I think the part that sucked was every time we ordered out for my birthday or went out for my birthday, it was one of the 2 places they liked. Even a taco place was out, unless they'd remove all veggies and extras except for the meat and cheese. Some places still put gross shit, to quote Benjamin, on them even when they agreed to comply. Anytime they want to do a family meal out, they expect us all to go to their chosen fast food places that work for Benjamin and Kathleen, and I'm tired of dealing with them. They're insufferable about how others eat too, so I never go. A few weeks ago, I had a birthday dinner with my girlfriend and some family and friends. Dad wanted to come, and he expected Kathleen and Benjamin to be invited too. I told him that was okay if they'd eat where I had chosen. I got an email from Kathleen and calls from Dad, where I was told my restaurant of choice did not meet the needs and requirements of Benjamin and Kathleen, and that me and the rest of the guests should travel out of state for a dinner for my birthday, so we could go to one of Benjamin and Kathleen's choices. My answer was no, and I told Dad he could still come, but I was not changing where I have my birthday dinner. Kathleen sent another email asking why I was being so hostile like her daughter, and said I should care about my family's health and interests. Dad and Kathleen were more upset to learn some of Dad's side flew out to join us for dinner, when they typically won't accept plans from them to eat out. So now I'm facing more of their anger for my choice of restaurant. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. So your dad's relatives avoid eating with him and Kathleen because of the boring food and jumped at the opportunity to have a nice meal with you? The rule is simple. Your birthday, you choose. Your dad can go and have chicken nuggets with his wife any day he feels like it, but he does not get to dictate how you organize your birthday party. Seems like Kathleen's own daughter doesn't like eating out with them either. Sounds like Kathleen's daughter is totally estranged, as OP has never met her. Wait a minute, her own daughter is so fed up with the dietary nightmare that is her mother and brother that stepmom considers her hostile? No, not the a-hole. Accommodating for the peanut and shellfish allergy would be a reasonable ask. Demanding that you limit your choices to 2 mediocre restaurants on your birthday to accommodate the stepmother and stepbrother's dietary dysfunction is absurd. Leveling up that demand to you must not only give up your preferred choice, but travel to another state to accommodate their dietary demands is ridiculously entitled. Just put them on mute and enjoy the culinary freedom you now enjoy. There's more than that. Her daughter and Benjamin are half-siblings, and I think a lot of mess started there and went into favoritism as well as the weird food stuff.